Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adult. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends. This is Monday. It's August the 20th, and we're going to talk about Mars today. Now, a couple of weeks back, pretty amazing thing happened. Curiosity landed on the red planet. We've got Pat Daugherty with us, retired education specialist with NASA.
Correct.
Good to have you here, Pat.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Last time we talked, Curiosity was on its way
Correct.
to Mars, an 8-month journey, right?
Right.
And we wanted to have you back after the landing date. And that had to be an exciting time for you.
Oh, it was. I almost missed it. I thought it was going to be like on Monday, and it was actually Sunday evening. But I was surfing through the channels, landed, because I always check NASA before I go to bed, see what's happening with them. And there they were, getting ready to bring it down. Well, it was going to bring it down by itself, actually.
Yeah.
Because once it went out of the cruise phase, it was all automated.
You know, when you think about that, now, I don't know how close attention our listeners were paying to what was happening, but I was trying to stay on top of it. Mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. It took a journey of 8 months to Mars. Then it entered the atmosphere, correct me if I'm wrong,
right,
at 13,000 miles an hour.
That's pretty close.
And it was all on remote control at that point,
From
right?
then on, right.
Then a parachute is deployed,
Right.
slowing it down some. And then before it gets to the Earth,
To Mars.
to Mars, right? Thank you. You corrected me. Before it actually touches down on Mars, it's lowered by cables, and then little jets slow it down.
The parachutes ejected are separated, and then these 4, well, actually it's probably more than that, but the 4 that you can see, rockets that are firing, sort of not quite straight down, but pretty close to straight down. That slows it down, and then at the same time, they've got this cable system. They call it a sky crane, and they let it lower the rover down, because if they took it all the way down with the rockets, the dust cloud it would create would be a lot of trouble for the mechanisms and all. And then and it's got a real radar built in, and it senses where it's at. And then as soon as it touches down, the sky crane released the cables, and it flew off so it wouldn't land on top of the rover when it landed.
Where did it go?
Well, I don't know how far away, but it went quite a ways. I think they probably got pictures of it by now.
Yeah. You think of the thought and the research that had to go into this to make it happen. I read there were a 500 million lines of computer information created for this.
Right, and that was just for the part that, from the 7 minutes of terror is what they call it. Yeah. Just for that part. To
a 500 million
code line.
Yeah. So what do you see? What are the benefits that you see coming out of Curiosity on Mars?
Well, of course, the big question about Mars, was there ever life on Mars?
What's your gut feeling?
I think there probably was microbial life, and it may very well be that it's still there below the surface. We know there's water in the form of ice, and one of the chief Mars scientists at a workshop a few years back said he'd bet a month's salary that we find life on Mars, not necessarily on the surface, but when we go actually get where we can dig deep enough, we'll find microbial life.
So what is this going to do back on Earth when they say we have discovered life on Mars?
Well, we've always sort of thought of ourselves as being special, unique in the universe, that this is the only place where life, up until now that we know about. And so this is going to mean that if it's within a small solar system such as ours, if there's life on 2 planets, and there's billions of stars with planets circling them, there's probably a planet like Earth somewhere, or at least Earth-like enough that it's, will support life of some sort.
Where do we go from here as far as the space program?
Well, they're gonna then if they don't change the plan due to funding, the next Mars program, they actually want to bring back a sample to Earth
From Mars.
to do more detailed analysis and all.
When do you think we will actually see a human being walk on the surface of Mars?
Well, originally it was 2030, but because they've changed that plan, originally we were going to go to the moon, test all the equipment it would be necessary to support humans on Mars, and then send them to Mars. And that in itself is, right now with current technology, is about a 2-year trip, so there and back. And so maybe that's been pushed back to 2035 or something.
We were talking before we came on. You remember during the years of the moon program,
Right.
the excitement that existed here on Earth. And it almost seems like we were more united as a group of people when we were trying to put a man on the moon, and then we put a man on the moon, and we put another man on the moon. Some people say, well, what was the use of spending all of that money? Well, a lot of good came out of that. A lot of good came out of that. It's a lot of good research and information.
Right.
Do you think we'll ever go back to that time again?
Well, I think once we make our minds up that we're going to go back, go to Mars, probably going back to the moon again will not stir up as much excitement, except, the younger generations.
They don't remember.
They don't know that.
No, they don't remember. I remember when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. I went outside that night in July. I looked up at the moon. I said, my goodness, there's a man on the moon right now. It was awe-inspiring.
It was. And, but I think when we get to the point where we're sending astronauts to the moon, to Mars, I think that'll bring that, because if we don't find life by then, the opportunity to discover it will increase greatly.
Okay. If people want more information or they want to see pictures, they can go to the NASA website.
Yeah, www.nasa.gov.
And they're almost always feeding something.
Oh yeah, and from there you click on the missions button and you can check any of the, 100 and something missions that they've got going.
The pictures from Mars that we've had in the past are beautiful, panoramic, beautiful pictures. And what will be coming from Curiosity will be even better, right?
I'm sure it will be.
Okay. Pat, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming.
for having
Any
me.
parting words of wisdom here on the space program?
Well, public support's important. If you're interested in space, let your legislatures know about it.
Yeah, okay, because that does make all the difference in the world.
That's where the money comes from.
Okay, Pat Daugherty, retired NASA education specialist. Thank you for coming on Radio Friends, and do come back again.
I will.
Okay, tomorrow we're going to talk about the Community Foundation of Central Missouri. John Baker will be our guest. Our program directed by Travis McMillan of the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Danny Madison, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. And if you'd like to watch this program or listen to it again, go to kbia.org, click on Talk Shows, and click on Radio Friends, and you can sign up for a free podcast or a podcast. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.